Right. Well, again, welcome to the third quarter RDU Tug. You can find us on Twitter at RDU Tug and hashtag RDU Tug. And I hope you like our logo because we just officially, we had this made for us last, I guess, 2 quarters ago, and we will be having T-shirts made. So you can look out for those. We'll be giving some of those away as swag in the coming tugs in the coming months. So you guys can rep the RDU Tug brand. I know I personally am excited. I think all of our leadership team is really excited to sport the logo on. Yeah. So we're excited and we can't wait to do that. So, and while I'm talking about the RDU Tug leadership team, give another wonderful shout out. Thank you very much to our RDU Raleigh-Durham Tableau user group leadership team. From left to right, again, you all know him. His hair's a little bit longer these days, but Paul McHale. And then now his hair's a little bit. Say what?
Still the same shirt though.
It is still the same.
What my picture was.
and the beard is a little bit shorter too, if I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some things never change. And then obviously you all know me. I'm Christopher Scott, and with his hair a little bit lighter than it was last time, Jesse Bikman, and going in clockwise order, Greg Lewandowski could not be with us tonight. He is at has another event, but we all know and love him very much. He's kind of our leadership emeritus, so he serves that purpose. And then can't forget about Ken Patton. Ken, we're so excited that you've joined us and that you are on the leadership team. Thank you for all you do. And last but certainly not least, our newest leadership team member is Marit. You're gonna have to help me with your last name. Imsdahl.
Marit Imsdahl.
Yeah, Imsdahl. I got it. Okay. Well, Marit, welcome to the team. Everybody, send your love via the chat. And just a reminder about the chat. So if you are using the chat function, make sure you use, and I don't even see my chat anymore. Well, make sure you use the all panelists and attendees if you want to talk to, there we go, there it is. So yeah, click on the 2 and do all panelists and attendees. So you get your word out to everyone. Those of you that are joining us, tell us where you're from. Drop your name and your location there in the chat. Also, we'll talk about this in just a second. So we're not going to do that quite yet. All right. So Marit is also leading one of our sessions this afternoon, and she will be talking about the Viz Games, the Viz contest that we'll be hosting this quarter. So I won't steal any of her thunder. I'll let her talk all about what we're going to do as a Viz contest for our tug. There will be some wonderful prizes. You will not want to miss it. And all right. And then second up on the evening or afternoon, Jesse Bikman, who has been a long time Tableau user and user group leader, will be talking about our newest mentorship and menteeship program. So meet up and learn, be a mentor. Here is your opportunity to get involved. You know, we always are trying to find ways to keep connected, even in this virtual space. So I'm really excited to hear and for Jesse to announce all of the things that we have and given this new opportunity. And then finally, last but certainly not least, Paul and Ken will be giving your lowdown on the Tableau Conference-ish, our virtual Tableau Conference, which will be happening in 19 days. Yes, that's right, 19. Just under 20 days, October 6th through the 8th. That's in America. If you feel like you won't be able to make it on the 6th through the 8th, no worries, because it will also be going on the 7th through the 9th in EMEA and Asia Pacific. So there are lots of great opportunities. They'll be telling us more about how you can maximize this year's virtual conference. So again, 100% free, virtual, October 6th through the 8th. If you have not registered, Paul's going to give another shout out. We'll mention it again at the end, but go now, tableau.com/conference. go register now. It's 100% free, and it will be well worth every ounce of time that you give to it. So anyway, I'll let Paul tell more about it, but that is it. We are happy that you all have joined us this afternoon, and continue to be and support our Tableau community here in the Raleigh-Durham area. We are, as Guru said to all of us in the chat, we're so excited for non-virtual events to start back up. But this community doesn't just disappear because we can't meet in person. So we are doing everything within our power. Tableau is going above and beyond, not just with conference, but with different community events all throughout the year, to really help us stay connected, and really to help us to keep that idea of community alive. So if you can think of any way that something we're not doing, if you can think of anything to help keep that community going and keep it strong, please let us know. We want to engage with you. We want your opinions, your feedback. So if we can do anything to help you, Jesse put a link there to the Tableau community page. Put it on there on the RDU Tug community page. We would love to hear from you. We do usually host a Have a Job, Need a Job session. So if you have a job, or if you're currently looking for a job, post your resume, post your job link there on RDU Tug. So we're always looking. And Lauren, yes, so post your resume out there on the RDU Tug page on the community. There's also some current, yes, it is. Jesse, post it again. Thank you.
Sorry, sent it to the panelists. I'll send it to everybody.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So another reminder, if you want to send it to everyone, do all panelists and attendees. And then that will go to everyone, and everybody will be able to see it. Fantastic. So yeah, so post it out there. There are actually a few jobs there on the community page. So I think, Marit, is your company still looking for? Yep. Head nod right there. So yeah, so lots of companies that are still hiring. Yeah, and so again, look for those opportunities there. But again, we want to again stress that even though we are still in a virtual environment, the community is still going strong. And so tonight is no different. We're still excited. And so with that, I want to raise a glass to our RDU Tug, and this looks really weird on the virtual background. Raise a glass to the RDU Tug, and let us have a wonderful evening, wonderful afternoon. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Marit, you are up first. So welcome to the deep end, friend.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how to run a Viz contest, and then I'm going to kick off the Viz contest shortly after that. So how do you run a Viz contest at your company? So I broke it down into 3 sections. So we have the pre-kickoff, we have the kickoff, and then the post-kickoff. So as part of the pre-kickoff, so before the kickoff, you want to figure out what is the Viz theme and what are the data sources. So for the Viz theme, do you want it to be very broad? Do you want it to be very specific? And then for the data sources, do you want to give the Tableau developers one data source? Do you want to give them multiple data sources, or do you want to let them pick their own data sources? You also want to see if, once you've given them one data source, if they can use additional data sources to bring into the Viz, or if they can only use the data sources that you provide. The next thing is judging criteria. So the key 3 ones, or the main 3 judging criteria, are design, analysis, and storytelling. But you could think about some other criteria as well. So if you want to bring in maybe using new Tableau features, another one might be uniqueness. And then you could potentially also, if somebody wants to add some sort of gamification to their Tableau Viz, that could be another criteria. So the 4th step is picking the judging panel. So for the judging panel, you could either pick Tableau developers, maybe Tableau users, maybe some UI developers. It can basically be anyone you think would be good on the judging panel. You just want to be sure there's not too many judges. Next one is the submission deadline. So you want to try to figure out when the submission deadline should be. Maybe give the Tableau developers 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, but make sure they have enough time to come up with a good dashboard. Next, the team size. So sometimes for the Viz contest for today, the team size is going to be 1 person, but if you all work in the same company, you could have 1, 2, or 3 people who collaborate on a Viz that they then submit together as a team. The next one is the award ceremony dates and prizes. So you want to figure out when do you want to have the award ceremony. Make sure you have enough time to go through all the Vizes and pick the top Vizes of all of those that have been submitted. You also want to figure out if there are any cash prizes, maybe some Tableau swag, or just winning the Viz contest is enough as a reward. The next step, which is pretty important, is advertising within the company. So you want to be sure that everybody who wants to participate heard about the Viz contest and can participate. So with that in mind, it doesn't have to be a Tableau developer who participates. It could be somebody who's very new to Tableau, who just picked up Tableau. Maybe they've been using it for a week or 2, but this is a good way for them to increase their Tableau skills. Optionally, you can show some previous Vizes for inspiration. So I know for some Viz contests, they'll show some Vizes just so you can kind of see what other people have created. So that's the pre-kickoff stage. Then you have the kickoff stage. So you want to be sure that people are excited for the contest. You also want to be sure that they're reminded of the deadline. So maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the deadline, just send them a reminder so that they're sure to submit a Viz on time. After that, so post-kickoff is once everybody submitted their Vizes, then you want to go ahead and rate the Vizes. So again, decide which criteria you want to use. If you want to use the 3 common ones of design, analysis, and storytelling, or if you want to bring in some other criteria. Next, you want to demo the top 3 Vizes. If there are only, for example, 10 Vizes, you could demo all 10 of them. If there are more than 50 or 60, maybe pick the top 3 or the top 10, and that way people can see what other people have submitted. For the top 3 Vizes, you'll want to have some sort of award ceremony and give out some prizes. So these prizes could be cash prize, Tableau swag, or anything else you could think of. Lastly, you can also highlight these employees in an internal newsletter. So I know that's something that we do at our company. When people have won something, their name will be in this newsletter, and that way other people know about it as well. And with that, I'm going to show a Viz that my team and I created. So we had a Viz contest back in March at Deutsche Bank, and my teammate and I came up with this Viz.
Can you full screen?
Yep. So we came up with this Viz, and it's on COVID. In this first tab, we created a timeline of the different events that happened throughout the different weeks up until April 1st. So this is kind of the overview page, and then from there, we went into a more detailed view. And for this Viz contest, we were all given the same COVID data. We were allowed to bring in other data sources if we wanted to, but I believe most people stayed with this one data source. So in this dashboard, you can see the confirmed cases, the deaths, the death rate, and then one of my favorite graphs is a map. So within the map, you can see the different colors represent how many cases there are in different countries. If you select the US, the whole dashboard will get filtered. So within Viz contests, you want to be sure that the user has a great experience with this dashboard, that they're maybe able to interact with your graphs, that when you select one graph, the other graphs filter as well. And then also filters can be important. So on the top here, you can see different countries. So if we want to look at Algeria and Bahamas, you can select different ones. And then the dashboard will filter based on the value selected in this filter. And you can also change this timeline. So whenever you have dates in your database, it's good to have a timeline, and that way you can filter on specific dates within your dashboard. So after creating this tab, we're thinking, it's important how many cases there are per country, but what if we bring in the world population? So how do the amount of COVID cases relate to the world population? And well, in the previous tab, we saw that US was, I think, on the top. Now you can see that the US is further down in the list, and you can see that actually San Marino is pretty high. So what this means is deaths per million is higher than in the US. So while San Marino has fewer cases, with regards to their population, it's actually pretty high. And this bubble chart is another one of my favorite graphs in that it breaks the data down by country, and then the size and the color of it shows the deaths per million. So with that, you can see Peru is pretty large, San Marino is pretty large, and then all these small dots, Cuba, Croatia, Egypt are much smaller. And also the color is much lighter. And again, in here, you can filter. So if you want to filter on Bolivia and Brazil, the whole dashboard filters, and you can see the total population, the total deaths for those two countries, deaths per million, and then the bubble chart here with Brazil and Bolivia. So one thing to keep in mind when you're creating these vizzes is that you want to have a story. So you don't necessarily have to use the story as in Tableau as the feature, but you could put multiple dashboards next to each other, multiple sheets next to each other to create this kind of story. And there should be some sort of storyline that goes from first tab to the second tab to the third tab. So maybe the first tab is a little more general, then you get details on the second tab, and then the third tab brings in even more details. And with that, we're going to kick off the first RDU Tug Viz contest. So,
Woohoo!
yay! So the Viz theme is airports, airlines, and routes. The data source is this data source right here. So I'm going to post, I can post the link to this public dashboard in a bit, and I'll also post the data source link. But within the data source link, so the data itself is on data.world. And within here, you can see the airlines data. You can see the airplanes, the airports, and the routes. So you can potentially see how do these 4 files relate to each other? How can you connect them? Maybe you want to keep them separate. Maybe you'll create 4 different data sources. Maybe you'll try to bring them all into one. That's up to you. You don't have to use all 4 of these Excel files. You can pick and choose which ones you want to use. But just remember that the theme is airports, airlines, and routes. So make sure when you create your dashboard, it's related to this theme. And you can also bring in additional data. So in Data World, there's a lot of data that you can pick. You can also find data, I guess, anywhere else on the web, as long as it's public, just to make it fair to other people. You can also create your own data. So if there's some data you think of that you think would be useful for your dashboard, feel free to create it and bring it in and then use it in your Viz. So back to the details. So we have the Viz theme. We have the data source. Additional data sources are allowed as long as they're relevant. So you can bring them in, just make sure they're relevant to the overall theme that you're creating with your Viz. Next are judging criteria. So earlier I talked about analysis, design, and storytelling. We're also bringing in uniqueness. So that looks at maybe some unique graphs, maybe some different ways of visualizing it, maybe using some special features, creating your own features, whatever it is. But that's the extra category that we came up with and are adding to the judging criteria. So analysis, design, storytelling, and uniqueness. The judging panel is the RDU Tug leadership team. So it's
Marit, do you want to go through each of those?
analysis.
Talk about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So let me start with uniqueness. So for uniqueness, we're looking at, are there any cool features that you used in this viz? Is there maybe a specific flow you're using, something that just kind of stands out from the other dashboards? For storytelling, we're looking at how does your viz tell a story? So we don't just want maybe 10 graphs kind of thrown on a page. We want them all to be relevant. We want them all to be related to the other ones. And we want to read a story through your viz. Design is looking at maybe the color palette you've chosen, the font size. So the overall design, when you're looking at this dashboard, should be consistent. It should be, it should look good, and you should use similar fonts and sizes and colors on the different tabs that you're using. And then analysis is, how did you analyze the data? So when you looked at the data, when you brought in the other data, how does it work together, and how did you analyze it to tell the story with your viz? So judging panel, so it's everybody on this call, plus Greg. And we may bring in a guest judge. We're still trying to figure that out, but that'll be TBD as of right now.
We're talking to some Zen masters, y'all. No promises, but it could be big.
Yep. And then, so the submission deadline is Halloween. So end of October is a submission deadline. And that'll give us enough time to go through all the dashboards, give points to the 4 different categories that we have, and then determine the top 3 winners, which we're then going to announce at the awards ceremony, which will be Q4 RDU Tug. So it's probably going to be December, but as of right now, the Q4 date is TBD. And in order to submit this, we would like you to email your Tableau public link to RDU Tug. So if you look down here, it says rdutug@gmail.com. And actually, if you select this, an email will pop up and you can send us an email. Just add your link, your public link. And if you want, you can also add RDU Tug as a hashtag. So if you're posting it on Twitter or LinkedIn for community engagement, feel free to add RDU Tug and then any other hashtags you can think of related to Tableau or Vizzes or any of that sort. And if you have any questions about submitting it, feel free to send us an email at rdutug@gmail.com. So the team size is 1 person, just to kind of keep it fair. Maybe if we said 2 people, it'd be hard. Some people wouldn't be able to find another person. So we're just kind of keeping it to 1 person so that it's fair. And then the prizes, we're also looking at some different prizes. Right now they're TBD, but we'll definitely know something in Q4 regarding prizes. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jesse.
Thank you. I hope you all are looking forward to this Viz contest because it's gonna be fantastic. Marit has picked out a great data set and there's room for a lot of creativity. We're gonna have a really good judging panel, and hopefully we'll get lots of submissions. And I know we're looking at least at a fairly large cash prize. Chris, can you speak to that?
Yeah. What we're thinking right now is $200 for first, maybe 50 to 100 for second, and then some very unique and amazing swag for third place.
So if only 1 person enters the contest, you're gonna win hundreds of dollars. So let that be you. And but expect everyone else to join so that you have a great submission. So transitioning to our next topic, which is mentorship. I don't have a slide to share, but I do just have a overall kind of message to share. I know that we've been virtual in all aspects for the past several months now. And I do some mentorship within the community, and I'm also mentored as well. Sometimes I have a mentor, and I mentor people. And one of the things that I found is that it's really challenging to network right now because you can't bump into somebody. You have to be very you have to have a lot of intent in all your interactions to network and to grow professionally in your career. So we were trying to think about kind of some ideas for how to make up for the lack of in-person events. I've seen a few chats already about this. Hey, we missed the in-person. Yeah, definitely, we all missed that. But at least one way we could kind of make up for that is, well, what if we got people paired up with each other so that people can kind of figure out where can I grow in my career. How can I help others grow in their careers? Just kind of get a sounding board for where they're at, how they want to grow. So we want to start a virtual mentorship program for the RDU Tug community. So we're going to send out an email after this event to all participants, or everyone who signed up, or probably everyone in our community, honestly. And there's going to be 2 different survey links. There's going to be a link for people that want to mentor other people, and there's going to be a link for people who want to be mentored. So they'll just be Google form kind of surveys, very simple, but they'll have a few fields that you have to answer. So what your name is, what your email address is, do you have a website or a LinkedIn or a Twitter account to share, and tell us, say something about yourself and why you want to be mentored. What kind of person would you want to mentor you? Are you trying to grow in a financial services space? Great. Are you in higher education and you want to meet someone who's also in higher education, kind of wants to get to a growth place there and what that looks like for you? Describe all that. The more the merrier, and we'll try and pair you up with somebody who kind of makes sense for what you put down on paper. Well, not paper, but what you put in the form. So hopefully we'll get lots of people signing up to be mentors and lots of people signing up to be mentored, and this is going to be an experiment. We'll see how it goes. Reach out with any questions and keep an eye out for that email.
So Jesse, do you want to talk about your experience as on either side? I'll let you pick.
Yeah, I'll share some of both. I met my mentor yesterday, actually, but it's just by chance. Let me see this chat messages. How long is this gonna go on for? Oh, I haven't put any thought into that. We have to figure that out, how long it would go on for. So meeting with my mentor the other day, I was just chatting about, hey, this is where I'm at in my career. This is kind of what I've been going through, just a touch point. We've had a few sessions already in person. I've been working with this individual for a few years. So we just kind of caught up and we both vented a little bit, and thought about ways to grow professionally, training to get, connections to make, just things to think about, perspective to have. So that's really good for me from a mentee perspective to get that. And then as a mentor, I've been mentoring some folks who maybe are earlier in their career, maybe have more non-traditional backgrounds, and want to know, like, hey, what's going on in the work world? Like, what is driving people's behavior, and how can I really be prepared to take my career to the next level? And kind of what are my goals, and just talking about what your goals are can really, oftentimes I don't know what my goals are, but if I'm talking about what they are, they just somehow seem to come out of my mouth, and it's like a free association. And then I started realizing, well, maybe I actually do kind of know where I'm trying to go with certain things. So having a sounding board of a mentor, or being that sounding board, that can be really valuable. And it can be good just to have that third party perspective. So I just think it's really valuable. I've gotten a lot out of it. I've, it's pushed me to learn R a year ago. Just take a class in Coursera, just things like that. Just things that kind of give you a little bit more depth from your day to day and help you grow in your career a little bit.
Yeah. So
Chris,
it sounds like
about
you'd
being
say.
a mentor.
Well, I was just going to say, it sounds like what you're saying is it doesn't have to be super formal. Like you don't have to have a plotted out, like this is what we're doing in this session and in this session. And, thinking about how long is it supposed to go on? I mean, it's really, it's ever how long it's valuable, right? So you'd say, I mean, so you're kind of lowering the bar to entry, right? It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. If you want to
super formal.
meet like once a quarter, once a month, just have a Zoom or WebEx call and just have lunch together with the cameras on and just talk. And yeah, that's kind of the intent that we had with this. So just making that available as an opportunity for folks who are trying to network and trying to grow at this point.
For sure. Yeah. So I'll mention the, you had asked about some of the opportunities that I've had. So I've had the same scenario, been able to be on both sides of the mentor-mentee relationship. And in fact, it was established back, I think in TC 18. So 2 years ago at Tableau Conference, Mark Bradburn set up a mentoring meetup, which is different. You can obviously use that, but we've kind of we've set up this survey so that you can have somebody local, so that when we start, meeting in person, we'll have that opportunity. Also, we think that, there are opportunities here within the triangle that, really, as you talk about, like Jesse talked about growing his career and, these opportunities, that could potentially be your next career move. Right. So we want to, try to make this as local as possible. But that's where I got started with, especially within the Tableau community in the data fam here in the mentoring meetup, was through that. And so I signed up as a mentor and had a few different mentoring relationships. They were really all over the board as far as how long they lasted, how frequently we met, the topics of conversation. Really, I laid it out as informal as possible, that it was, again, same thing, like, where do you want to go with your career? And then even things like it, some of them evolved into really just Tableau doctor sessions. Like, what are you working on? What are you struggling with? Where is the, what's the thing you're trying to do? Or let's look at a viz and let's take it apart and see if there's opportunities for you to kind of grow and get better using the tool. So I think there's definitely all aspects of that. So if you're a mentor, please don't think you have to have a rubric or something laid out for, a year. We're going to meet for 12 months and do a year's worth of, no, just come open, willing to share what your experience, your whatever education you have. Jesse said, if you know R really well, or if you know Python, or you've been using Tableau for 10 years and, you really, you have that experience to share, make that your offering. And then, wherever the conversation leads itself to. And then as a mentee, I've had the opportunity to sit both formally and informally under some just amazing people. I talk about, I think she's on the call right now. So I'm going to embarrass her a little bit. But Janice Kyle works, she's been a part of the Tableau community for a very long time. In fact, she's the reason that I have my current job right now at Genworth Mortgage Insurance. Shout out to Genworth USMI. But that has been one of those mentor relationships that it is not formal. She never was my technical boss, but it was a mentor-mentee relationship where just years of experience that I did not have in the industry, I did not have at this job, and just overall her, so that opportunity right there was just a fantastic informal way to grow and to find out what the things that I needed to know, the things that I wanted to learn, the opportunities. Like if oftentimes you have these blinders on, and so it's exactly like Jesse said, having that third party perspective going, you really, you're asked. I just submitted my my performance evaluation for, as my check-in, and it's really hard to gauge your strengths and weaknesses if you're you're just focused on your kind of day-to-day. So having a person that comes from that third-party perspective that really has no agenda, right? It's not this relationship with them is not based on your whether or not you're going to get your promotion or your raise. It's purely based on helping you to grow as an individual, helping you to grow in this arena as a as a Tableau developer, as a data analyst, as data scientist, wherever you want to grow toward. That's what this relationship should be about. Because oftentimes, and so we don't want to force anything. I think that can be one of the most dangerous things about any of these relationships, is it feeling forced. We want it to feel natural. We want it to feel like it's up to you. So you make this work so that it's as valuable to you as you want to make it. So so again, when Jesse sends out that email, follow through, do the email, even if you're even just a little bit curious, just fill it out, and we will work to match mentors with mentees and get those relationships, because we know that there are people all throughout the community, both on both sides, really eager for connection, for a relationship. So so I'm really excited. I know I've said a lot, but Jesse, thank you for really spearheading this. And this is one of those things, like I mentioned, community in this time. How we're going to continue to drive that is through these relationships like this.
I hope you're looking forward to it, because I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Me too. Do you have the survey up so you can show what kind of questions there are, maybe, since we have a little bit of time?
I mean, I have the Trello page up. I'll share that. It's fine. So yeah, we're gonna ask, what's your name? What's your email address? Do you have a website or a LinkedIn or a Twitter account to share? Kind of all those things. And then describe yourself. Tell us why you'd want to be mentored. Tell us what kind of person you'd want to mentor you. Tell us, what your background is and where you want to go and all that. And then the questions for mentors, there's going to be a separate survey link for mentors. And it's going to be almost identical. What's your name? What's your email address? Do you have a website, LinkedIn, or Twitter account to share? And describe yourself and let us know why you want to be a mentor. Tell us what kind of person you'd like to mentor, and share information about your background that makes sense to share in this context. So it'll be really short and sweet, and then we'll collect that information for those surveys and pair people up. And hopefully we have the same number of mentors as mentees and mentees as mentors. We'll see how it goes. We don't really know how it's going to go, but I hope you think it's as good of an idea as we do. So I think that's it for me. Moving on to Paul for Tableau Conference-ish.
Yeah, let's talk Tableau Conference. I'm super excited about conference. I'm always excited about Tug, and really cool this time to get a little bit of time to talk to all you about some things that are really impactful to my career. I'm going to start my screen share, so just give me a second to fumble a bit, and then I'll get down to what it is I want to say, now that you guys have been gracious enough to give me your attention. All right, and the hope is that you all see PowerPoint and that the PowerPoint matches my background. Are we good?
Yes.
Very cool. So I'm going to partner here with Ken Patton. So Ken and I are going to attempt to navigate the virtual sharing of talking points. So deal with us as we sort of get on the same page, but Ken's got some super awesome stuff to share about his Tableau experience. I'm excited to get into mine. Before I do, though, I just want to say the agenda that we have together for this Tug, the three main topics, right? The Viz contest, mentoring, and conference. Those three concepts, ideas, topics are maybe the three most influential in my career. Right? When I think back to before I had ever built a visual in Tableau, or before I ever had a mentor who was tied into the Tableau community, I never would have seen this outcome for myself. And the really cool thing is, and I guess outcome is probably the wrong word, but I have a job at Red Hat, so a little bit into my introduction. That's pretty much the dream job for where I am in my career. I'm the Tableau enablement lead at Red Hat. I lead the internal tug, and so that means I get to do this on a monthly basis with Red Hatters, who are an awesome audience. I get to have Tableau doctor sessions with creators. I mean, we've got nearly 1,000 creators at Red Hat. So I don't just get to connect with individual creators, right? But there's this team of champions. We've got these superpower users. And connecting with those folks, and some of them who are on the call today, that I'm super excited that they're here and participating in the local tug. And connecting with them, and not so much mentoring them, but watching and participating in them taking on the mentorship roles within the community, right? So this community lead idea and seeing the mentorship that happens within that community is awesome. And attempting to scale that outside of an organization and do sort of what Jesse's leading here and attempting to accomplish in the Raleigh-Durham area, I think is awesome. And to those of you who are on the fence about becoming mentors, I'll tell you that probably some of the most impactful mentors in my career didn't consider themselves mentors, didn't consider themselves up to the task of being a mentor, but whether they liked it or not, they mentored me and helped me along my journey, right? So if you're not sure whether or not you should be a mentor, take a good hard look in the mirror and question whether or not you're not dealing with some form of the imposter syndrome, right? Like, I'm not good enough at this. This isn't my thing. Mentors, there is no mentor who understands every outcome. There is no mentor who can take every single potential goal that somebody says they have and offer amazing insight on how to achieve that goal, right? Jesse made the point earlier that it's about the conversation. Get into the conversational flow and outcome the goals and outcome the ideas from the mentor, right? So I encourage you to participate. And the way I understand it, as far as mentorship and mentee relationships go, you don't have to sit only on one side, right? So consider how you might benefit as a mentee, but then also what you can give back as a mentor. And then the Viz contest. I mean, and I saw Makeover Monday come up as a data set for Vizes in the chat. If it wasn't for Makeover Monday and building out Vizes and sharing my work and getting feedback on my work from a larger community, I don't think I ever would have explored Tableau in the depth that I have and really come to appreciate what the tool can do. And so from a career perspective, at least at the moment, I'm all in on Tableau, right? I mean, anything can change in the future, but I love the tool. I love what it can do. And that's why I say these three topics really are probably the biggest influencers on my career. Because I tell you, mentorship and mentee programs and the visual participating in like Viz contests and building out visuals, I probably wouldn't have done those things if I didn't attend Tableau Conference when I did in my career. I attended my first conference in Austin, Texas, and this year will be my fifth-ish with the theme for Tableau Conference-ish. So I've been to 4 live conferences. And for those of you that have never been, it's a tremendous experience. We'll talk a little bit about what that experience is like and why it gets us excited. But then even though you've never been before, those of you that haven't, none of us have ever been to a virtual conference before. So we're all going to be in the new shoes together and navigating this experience. But if I can tell you one thing about what Tableau does at conference when it's live and in person, it's that they inspire. And they inspired me in a way that I hadn't been inspired at something thrown on by a software company, right? Because it really is centered around community, and I expect something similar out of the virtual conference that's going to come up in a week. So anyway, I just sort of wanted to connect them all together and try to really get you guys excited about the potential of 1, participating in the contest, 2, thinking about getting in that mentorship program, and then 3, even though we won't be in person, and I'll miss sitting down and having a beer with people I only get to see once a year, meeting new people who are at their first conference or people who I've never crossed paths with. Sure, I can't do that element, but there is going to be some neat stuff where you're still going to be able to make those connections. But the important thing is that you have to show up. And at a high level, I mean, this is essentially the most accessible conference that Tableau's put on. Everybody can go and there's no cost. So that's my little intro. That's my little pitch. Kind of took a bit of time there to really get going, but I hope that's impactful to you all. Before we jump in, I want to just turn it to Ken. Ken, you want to do a quick intro and talk about what you love about conference before we dive into conference-ish 2020? And Ken, I don't know if you're on mute or.
I'm trying to unmute him and I can't even unmute him. So let's just move on. Maybe he'll come back in.
I'll give it a couple of seconds. In fact, I'll take a sip of my drink, and if he's not back by then.
What are you drinking, Paul? People are wondering about
no,
what
I meant
I'm
to say that in my intro. I saw the question in the chat earlier, and I figured I would save it until I was on the screen. We got a theme going here, hazy IPAs. I'm drinking a hazy little thing by Sierra Nevada. Now with their second headquarters outside of Asheville, North Carolina. Cool. So let's go ahead. Ken, I don't know if you can hear us and you've got technical difficulties, but whatever the case, jump right in whenever you're back. So it's the same-ish, but different-ish, right? It's entirely virtual. It's a whole new space. I mentioned those of you that have never been before. No, we're all in the same shoes when it comes to this virtual conference. And I'll sort of get to this, and I'll try to keep it in a logical order. But it excites me, and I really am looking forward to it, and I hope that comes through as we're connecting. This will be a global event, right? So we are specifically in Raleigh-Durham region, North Carolina, right? So we're going to focus on October 6th through 8th. Eastern time, it's going to be noon to 6 p.m. With virtual conference. A lot of it's pre-recorded. Some of the keynotes are going to be live. It should be really well curated. And I think you will benefit. And my suggestion is that you block off some time on your calendar to attend, right? And that's going to be the most important thing. And I encourage that of the Red Hatters, and you guys will probably hear me say this again in the near term, those of you that are on the call today. But I don't know that anybody's going to block off 3 6-hour sessions, right, and attend all 3 days. But look for opportunities when the schedule comes out, right? So the schedule's not there yet, but we'll talk about the types of things you'll find in the schedule. There'll be some key dates that you want to keep in mind. And then, be smart with your time. Of course, and I guess I'm putting my red hat on here, but you've got to be responsible within your teams and connect with your managers. Make sure everybody's on the same page. And then just so you don't feel guilty about the time, my suggestion is really get that buy-in across the team. So you're not sitting there at conference and instead of learning, doing actual work or feeling like you should be doing actual work, right? So I would avoid multitasking during the virtual conference. I'll tell you that when I'm sitting there in person, I'm one of those people, I don't even have a notepad in front of me. If something really sparks my interest, I'm going to write myself a text or put it in OneNote on my phone, right? But I want to be all in and understanding what's going on. And just like in prior conferences, what you're going to experience here is going to be recorded, but it'll look different. So if you've seen conference in the past, expect some changes. It'll be new, like I've said, for everybody, but you're going to have some different channels that you'll experience when you log in. The channels are going to have episodes that are running throughout the week. I think the bulk of them are 30-minute episodes. You'll note them on your schedule. You'll know exactly when to look for them. Keynotes, from what I understand, I think all of them will be actual live events, but I don't know that for sure. That's just what I believe I recall hearing. The keynotes are going to be awesome. I'll tell you a little bit about who's speaking this year because I'm excited about a few of them, and the bunch as a collective are maybe some of the best. Maybe not as good as Bill Nye the Science Guy at my very first one in Austin, but it's going to be pretty awesome. I'll mention brain dates specifically later, but just in case you don't catch it when I bring it up later, or for whatever reason you're not still here, brain dates are going to be really important. And when I say there are still going to be opportunities to connect, even though it's virtual, I'm thinking specifically brain dates and Tableau doctor's appointments. Brain dates, you have 2 options with a brain date. once you commit that, hey, I'm going to do this, I want to be on brain dates, you can either put yourself out there and say, I want to connect with 1 or up to 5 people, right? So you choose one-on-one or group, and I'm just going to see who signs up, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to connect with that person. Or you can go and browse through the people who have put themselves out there and say, this is the person that I want to connect with, right? So a little bit of a mentor-menteeship, but type of thing, like, are you willing to put yourself out there as a mentor and say, I want to learn this? Or maybe even a touch further in terms of putting yourself out there, say, hey, this is what I want to learn. Is there anybody out there who can talk to me about how to upskill in this area, right? And then some people will browse through those brain dates, and maybe you get just the person that ends up being your long-term informal mentor. So why attend, right? I think to sort of, in addition and alongside the things I've said so far, I mean, you should prepare to be inspired. You go there with the intention to connect. And then the business use cases, you tell your manager you're going to learn, right? And of course you will. But my motivation is my network. I want to get out there and connect with more people, those mentorship relationships. I don't know that I have any one person I've ever mentored and it's been a one-way relationship, right? I've got people who I call a mentor and they turn right around and say, I thought you were my mentor. I don't know, right? But that's what valuable relationships are. And Tableau Conference is a great place to make those. And if you don't walk away inspired, you are probably multitasking. So don't multitask when you attend conference, not if, when. So what do you learn? I mean, it depends on the track you choose, right? But it's up to you when you go in and figure out the different themes that are offered. So for instance, when you get into the different channels, there will be a channel on community, another channel for devs, I believe, and so on. And they'll release all of the details, but you choose what you want to learn. It's not just show up and be talked at, right? Choose your path, use your time wisely. And then of course, whatever you bring to a Tableau Doctor session is going to be at the top of the list of the things you learn. All right, so let's talk about the 2020 experience. It will be broadcast style. When you go to conference in the past, you're typically looking at people on stage. They're behind podiums, big screens behind them. Some of them bring pointers, but it's largely talking at you. So there's going to be a little bit of change to the way it looks this year. There'll be some recordings that'll be a sort of broadcast style. There'll be some elements of like a podcast style or fireside chats. But it will be around the clock, which is pretty neat. So if there's anybody tuning in from another time zone, no, you don't have to bend to the time zones in the Americas. There will be separate broadcasts going almost all the way around the clock, targeting Europe and Asia Pacific. And so those dates are actually the 7th through the 9th because they're happening a little bit later. It's going to kick off with the US. And then, of course, you know, we're here to celebrate data people, right? Tableau Conference is a place where it's okay to be a data nerd. So we come together, we learn, we collaborate, we build a lasting community. I can speak to it. I mean, when I went to my first conference, I didn't have a concept for what the Tableau community was. I was one of those people who was fortunate enough that I went to Tableau Conference about a little more than a year after I used the tool. I got the tool, knew of conference, wasn't able to go, went the following year, really early in my Tableau journey. And that's sort of, I mean, look, it's partly how I ended up as a Tableau user group leadership team member, right? And how I'm leading an internal tug at Red Hat. And it's through community. Right? It's
true. His story involves him running up to me in the middle of the data community village and almost tackling me and introducing himself. So please don't ever be afraid to go and introduce yourself, especially in this new community space. Yeah, it's okay to be a data nerd. Everybody's there for the same purpose, and they're all there because we're all part of a big data fam. So yes,
I was actually,
a funny story, Paul.
I actually was going to tackle Chris, but then I saw security, and so I just introduced myself.
It's true. I thought you came up from behind me, and I felt like you were going to tackle me.
Very cool. Well, been good buddies since.
That's right.
And then that's the power of Tableau Conference, right? And so no, you won't have those walk-ups where you just run into somebody. Like, of course, I had been to Tugs at the time, and Chris is a long-time Tug leader, and that's why I recognized him. I said, oh, wait, look at that. There's a guy from Raleigh here, right? That's the guy that leads the Tugs. And I had only been to a couple at that point. And I was like, that's the guy I got to go say hi to, because that's what Tableau Conference is. And that's why more so than in the past, getting in and doing the brain dates and the Tableau doctor sessions is going to be important. I mean, I'll tell you, I've not gone to a conference without scheduling multiple Tableau doctor sessions. I go and I sit down and I talk to the devs and I understand, why am I not able to do what I want to do? What can I do differently with this dashboard? And you think all sorts of questions to them. And once everything comes out, and so you're targeting, I think it's the 22nd, yeah, it's right there on the screen. The 22nd is when the schedules come out and the ability to schedule brain dates and Tableau doctor sessions becomes available. So Tableau will probably send out tons of reminders to those who haven't registered but are on mailing lists between now and the 22nd. But if you are registered, and I encourage you to do so, there's really nothing to lose to register right now, but you'll be kept in the loop and you'll be amongst the first who get access to the scheduling. I don't know how Tableau is staffing up for Tableau doctors at this point, different than they have in the past. But Tableau doctors, I mean, it's free of charge and it's open to anybody who registered. I mentioned earlier, it's the most accessible conference that Tableau's ever put on. Right? Anybody can sign up. And I just see a mad run on Tableau doctor sessions. So I would encourage you to schedule those early. Right? And so this page, you'll see, it just sort of talks through the different aspects of what you'll see when the schedule comes alive. There will be broadcast channels, and this is an opportunity for me to do a little bit of a plug. I hope on day one in the afternoon, you'll navigate over to the community channel. If you go to the community channel, you'll see me and 3 other internal community leaders do a panel discussion on how to start up or kickstart an internal community. So check that out if you can. It'll be on day 1 in the afternoon. As far as I know, I don't have any times. I've not seen a formal schedule. We recorded it last week. It's terribly awkward. So hopefully they make me look good, but we'll see how it is. I think there's some super valuable stuff there. And the folk, the 2 other leaders from Indeed, so Helen from Indeed and Brian from Cardinal Health, had fantastic tips. And even if we hadn't recorded this session, the things I learned from the 2 of them are just super impactful for me and what I'm trying to do at Red Hat as a community leader. So check that out. That's my one little plug. Look for the internal communities. The title is something to the effect of internal communities from the front lines. I guess we're on the front lines. I didn't make the title, but I do think it's pretty cool. Then, so the channels, you can sort of peruse through those like you're watching TV, but then separate from the channels, which are going to run on a posted schedule, you'll have some on-demand catalog and you'll have the featured keynotes. And the keynotes I sort of want to get into now. They are some of the most exciting moments of Tableau Conference, right? So you'll hear from Adam Silipsky about the vision. There'll be the product keynote where you'll hear about where are we going as a tool. I say we, like I'm with Tableau, like where is Tableau going with the tool? What have they accomplished? Where are they going? Tons of inspiration typically in that talk about how Tableau is being used with nonprofits to make an impact outside of the business. Iron Viz, one of the top moments. It's going to be really cool this year to see how they pull off Iron Viz without the excitement of the crowd in the background. But I wouldn't put it past Tableau to pull it off and execute flawlessly. Iron Viz is a live content. Well, it won't be live this year, I suppose. I imagine. I think they are recording ahead of time. I don't know if I'm giving anything away there, but they can't. It's just not feasible, I guess, to do it live like so many of the other sessions, like my own. But what they're doing is, in the typical instance, they're up on stage. And over 20 minutes, they build out a viz. And they're usually some of the best vizzes you've seen, but they practice them ahead of time. When I was in Austin, Texas at my first Tableau Conference, I literally thought they were building these vizzes off the top of their heads. And to be quite honest, I was like, I guess I'm never going to be good at this tool. So just so you know, if you watch your first Iron Viz in a couple of weeks, this is something that they spend a couple of weeks. And when you see the quality of the outcome, you'll be like, they designed that in 2 weeks, practiced it, and they can rebuild it in under 20 minutes. I mean, there is some super awesome stuff. And you'll get to see their screen. You will watch their individual clicks, and you will see some of the best Tableau practitioners out there build some of the most awesome dashboards you'll ever seen, and they'll do it in hyper speed in under 20 minutes. And then the judges will come in and they'll choose a winner. It's one of the most exciting events at conference. Now, those are the mainstays. We do the vision, the product, and the Iron Viz keynotes every year. But then in addition to that, there are featured speakers who come in. And so Heather McGowan, Nate Silver, Mark Randolph, Kelly Jin, 4 fantastic speakers that are going to be nothing short of inspirational. But I have to say, this is a lineup of featured speakers that I am as excited about as any other prior Tableau I went to. And in particular, I'm interested in hearing Nate Silver speak. I read his book, The Signal and the Noise, years and years ago when it was fairly new. And I've been a hardcore follower of 538 ever since. Read about the other 3 speakers as well if you've not heard of them. They've got fantastic credentials, and they're going to be awesome events to attend. So you'll build your schedule on the 22nd. Just my advice, Tableau doctor appointments are going to go fast, and then brain dates. I'm going to put myself out there with brain dates, so I'm going to schedule a few, and I'm hoping people will come in and grab them, right? And I'd encourage you to kind of do the same. I've got some topics I want to learn more about, so I'm going to put somewhere like who can come in and have a conversation with me. I'm looking to learn versus others, and this is even more uncomfortable for me. So like, here's what I think I know. Does anybody really want to hear? And so you sort of got to put yourself out there and say, I think I know what this is, and I want to explore it further. So encourage you to, as on the 22nd, get out there, do those Tableau doctor appointments and brain dates. And that's where the networking is, right? But it doesn't stop there. In addition to the community and the brain dates, I don't know how many of you are on social media. I'm not a big social media advocate, so I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. I'm one of those Facebook holdouts that exists today. I've never had a Facebook account, believe it or not. And the only social media accounts I have right now are LinkedIn and Twitter. And I use them both professionally. And Twitter I use to connect with the data viz community. And I wouldn't have a Twitter account if not for Tableau Conference and for having been connected in with this community. So the third bullet down on here talks about social. And if you have a Twitter account and you search for hashtag data20, you'll find tons of people who are super excited about Tableau Conference and who have some good tips to get engaged. It is an open and engaging community, and newbies are welcome. So if you have a Twitter account or you want to create a Twitter account specifically for Tableau Conference the way I did, like if you go to the very beginning of my Twitter, I literally created it for conference, and it's a bunch of conference pictures. And I've used it for data viz and career reasons ever since. And so if you feel like that's something you're comfortable doing, use that hashtag data20 and get to know some of these people. Tableau doctors, here's just a bit more about what you can bring. We talked about how you should schedule a doctor session, but how about a little bit about why, right? It's one-on-one help. You can bring technical challenges, my data, it can be related to your data, how you display your data, visual best practices, how to make parameters work. Maybe you've got a somewhat dated dashboard that doesn't use parameter or set actions. You're like, I've got these drop-down parameters that, you know, my dashboard looks circa 2015. I want to upgrade it and use some parameter actions, right? Bring that to a Tableau doctor session and upgrade what you already have in your production environments, right? And in doing so, you're going to build out your capabilities as a Tableau practitioner. And you're going to see if you do start participating in the online communities, like Twitter, for instance, and start sharing Makeover Monday visits, you'll watch yourself improve more quickly during Tableau Conference than at any other time of the year, because you really are going to learn a ton from those Tableau Doctor sessions. And you choose the appointment length, right? So what's available to you. But they are, well, it says here, first come, first served basis, right? So get out there fast, book them on the 22nd. It opens prior to the event. I'm assuming that means the 22nd. So I've sort of, all my talking points, I've assumed you can schedule doctor sessions on the 22nd. So I hope that's true. Forgive me if not. And then there's a few fun things, right? So how do you have fun at a conference that's virtual? There's apparently going to be some closing entertainment. I don't have any insight on what this is, but I think it's a neat idea, and I'm excited to see what Tableau does. Look at the community channel. That's where you'll find me in the afternoon on day one. So I hope you guys will look in there and learn something about internal communities. But then don't miss Data Plus Women and Data Plus Diversity. Jump in and check those out as well. Hey, interactive resume. This is one's close to home for me. I created an interactive resume last July. And then I ended up with a new job at Red Hat on September 16th. By the way, yesterday was my 1 year at Red Hat. I would never have created that interactive resume and put it on Tableau Public if not for Tableau Conference and for the mentorship and for the community that I've talked about so far. And so I put myself out there and put a resume on Tableau Public. And I literally ended up with a new job. I mean, it's the job I'm in now because I took that initiative to try something outside of my comfort zone and then put it out there for anybody to see. And then if you really want some inspiration, don't look, I mean, you can look at my Tableau Public profile, but there's not a ton there that's inspirational, except that maybe it spans a number of years and it's multiple visits a year. But you can see when I was really working, I was putting multiple visits per month for a while, right? I've slowed that down as I'm less in Tableau development and more in community. But if you want inspiration, look at the Tableau Public Viz Gallery that's going to be available during Tableau Conference. Don't let what people are doing in Tableau that you don't quite understand intimidate you, because I've sort of been there and think of it as the possibilities are limitless, right? You really say, look at my business dashboard and look at what they're doing. And know what they're doing is never going to live in my production environment. I'm never going to give that to an executive. But there is some really slick functionality that's going to make my vizzes that live in production today that much easier, more consumable. And if they're a little bit flashier, if they have some neat design, maybe that much more attractive and drive more clicks. Because ultimately with Tableau, we're trying to drive better data-driven decision-making within our organizations. And the better we are as data practitioners, the more effectively we communicate information, and the more capable we are in bringing the right audiences in to consume those, the more impact we have on the business. And so that's my spiel on why attend Tableau Conference. You know I'm going to be there. I hope you're jazzed and excited about it. And I hope if you seek to be more connected in the community, and if it's your goal to have a career in Tableau, that you have similar outcomes to mine. And I'd love to hear from you guys on offline, through brain dates, through local networking, how your careers progress and how much you enjoy conference, because I'm hoping to see you all there. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Paul. All right. So I will also make a little quick plug. I didn't want to interrupt you because you were just on a roll there. But I wanted to say that you mentioned scheduling out for your doctor sessions first, and then your brain dates. And then as I've thought about the way to process, how am I going to translate, a live event to a virtual event? Really, when you talk about blocking out the days, I've told multiple people, go and I think you made a mention of this, put your schedule together. That's the only way you're going to actually, process and think, okay, I've got 6 hours. How am I going to spend them? If I actually go and schedule and put them on my calendar, it's going to make me more apt to actually go and watch those things, pay attention, and and be present, be there. So anyway, so yeah, that's just my one little tip on there is get your doctor sessions and then go and actually create your schedule on the site. So do you agree, Paul?
Absolutely. Yes. Make
Yeah.
your schedule, get those doctor sessions and brain dates, and plan for it. Don't just assume you'll have
Monday
time.
afternoon. A Monday afternoon better be on everybody's calendar to go and watch the internal Tableau community session with Paul.
Very cool.
I did force everyone that was in this tug to come and bear through my presentation last year. So you'll have to go. Paul's will be a lot more interesting than mine was. So so you'll definitely want to go and hear his talk on Monday afternoon.
Well, the key
So I'm
is
excited about it.
I'm one of 3 in a panel, so you don't just have to listen to me a second time like you did tonight.
That's right. That's right. All right. So so fantastic. So again, go to tableau.com if you have not already, /conference. Right there. Click on the register. Free. Takes less than 5 minutes. And get your talk, get your registration done. Tableau will send out emails letting you know about when the sessions are live. Pay attention to your email. Go to tableau.com /conference or just tableau.com to find out more information, like when they're dropping. Also, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of those, if you're not a Luddite like Paul is, go check out Tableau's pages. They will give all the information there. Fantastic countdowns in the community. And yeah, and that is, if there is one time a year to get on Twitter, get on Twitter during conference. That is where the conversation happens. We will, as I mentioned on the chat earlier, we're going to try to have a community session. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. And Tableau is currently even building out, but they are, hopefully they'll have a community section for RDU Tug, and I will send out to everyone on this call and within our community the link for that, so you all be able to join us live. It'll be kind of brain date style. But yeah, go sign up for the brain dates. I'm going to put out a few brain dates out there as well. So you can look for Paul's, look for mine. Paul, I'm not going to attend yours because I'm not going to take up a spot, and you and I can talk about those things anytime. So, so I'm leaving. So I'm giving one of you lucky folks a spot in one of Paul's brain dates, because I'll give you my seat. But anyway, so yeah, so go and register, tableau.com /conference. This is I love that. It's the same. What was your first slide? Something-ish, same-ish.
It's the same-ish, but different-ish.
Different-ish. Yep. So that's so true. It will. Tableau is one to go above and beyond no matter what they do. So you are guaranteed for a fantastic experience, no matter what it ends up being. And I think Paul addressed that very, very well. So yeah, so again, we are the Raleigh-Durham Tableau user group. Our community is not about the 5 or 4.5 with Ken's technical difficulties, the 4.5 of us that were presenting tonight. It's all about you. And so I say this over and over again. This community is all about helping one another out. It's about, really creating the idea of a network, right? Is that fishing net. We are available to one another to be able to catch you when you fall, right? I mean, there have been times in my career where I've honestly not known what direction I was going to go, but thanks to this community, I had that safety net, that great network of individuals that was there. And so yes, so Lauren, let this be that for you. So reach out. I know Jen Gartner, who works with Cherry Bakert. And you'll have to forgive me for the name pronunciation there, Jen. But they are looking as well. They are a fantastic organization, formerly Isimo, if you had heard of them. But yeah, they are looking, and Beckert, thank you. So they are, yes, absolutely. But just a fantastic company to work with. But they were one of those nets that I needed many years ago to help get me back on my feet and help get me going in the right the right direction. So we exist to support one another. So yeah, so the Viz contest. So create those. If you're looking for a way to start out your Tableau resume, kind of like Paul did, this Viz contest could be your first Viz in your Tableau resume. And what a fantastic way to get feedback and to provide, to have a great, you have a data set, you have a host of Tableau experts that are going to help you to validate all of your data and your dashboard, and are going to give you great feedback. So what a great way to start up your Tableau resume. The mentorship, get your help. It's being offered right, like on a silver platter, literally. And then Tableau Conference, it's free. You literally have no excuse. You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to give up your afternoon on 3 days in the month of October. So so highly recommend attending that. Take advantage of all of these opportunities. We're presenting them to you because, as Paul said, as Jesse said, as I'll say again, these are the things that helped us to get to where we're at right now. We're not done. We're not done growing yet. So we still need these things as much as anyone. But without these things, we would not be where we're at right now. So use, and I mean, I don't want to say use and abuse because it sounds bad, but use and abuse this user group. Let us be your sounding board. Come and, like Jesse said, vent to somebody. You know, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter. You can find us on the community.tableau.com and look for the RDU Tug. You know, reach out to any one of us, anybody in the community, and we are happy. Yeah, there you go. That sounds a lot better. But yeah, so utilize your resources here. We want you all to be successful. This is absolute. This field. I've said it to many college students and interns that have come through at my company. This industry is not slowing down. It is growing, and there are a lot of changes that are happening and things, but there has never been a better time to be in this industry than right now. So utilize these resources. A free conference from the leading data visualization software in the world. I mean, you know, there is not a better opportunity than now. So utilize the resources at your disposal. And so we are here for you. Again, this is your community. Make it yours, and let's keep going. So again, to rehash, mentorship, menteeship, you'll get a survey. Please fill it out. Even if you're just a little bit curious, whatever side you want to be on, you can sign up for both. We don't care. The Viz games, the Viz contest, Marit already put the links in the chat, but we will send out an email after this, giving you all of the links, all the information for that. Again, tableau.com/conference. Go and register. You'll find all the information you need on that website. But yes, and so look out for Q4. We will be hosting it again virtually, so not planning on meeting in person until 2021. I know that's a bummer to some of you. It is for me, the extrovert that I am. But we will try, you know, our best. Hopefully, we'll be able to meet in first quarter in 2021. But Q4, look out for all the information on that. If you are not already subscribed to our Tableau Hub on our community page, subscribe to that. That's where you're not only going to get the information on the latest tugs, but you're also going to, we post, again, like Jesse talked about, we post the have a job, need a job sessions there. We post information on contests, on swag, on, you know, you name it. We post information on there. So that's kind of our first line with Twitter. So, you know, if you want to be engaged, that's the first place to do it. But go there. We look forward to seeing you all in 2020. Thank you again to our wonderful co-leaders, Jesse, Marit, Ken, and Paul. Greg, we missed you, but we will see you all next quarter. Have a great evening, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.
We'll send out a follow-up email with some more instructions around the contest, the mentorship, and the conference stuff. So keep an eye out for that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
My Zoom is gone. Show all windows? Nope. My Zoom is gone. I don't know how to stop it.
That happened.
Oh, here we go. Stop sharing. There it is. It was on the other screen. All right, so I'm gonna stop recording.